Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. You know, uh, I've gone by the name of Gigi because back in 2016, when I published a spiritual book, my siblings said if I used my real name, they would sue me. Isn't that great? So you can either call me Kit or Gigi, it doesn't matter. But I want to mention these town halls and I want to mention these protests. And I did see one in Las Vegas one time, about a month ago, and everybody in the street were on their knees praying, praying. That's what's absolutely missing in this country. Really, it's missing. Prayer's very important. Jesus is our lifeline. And Jesus said, your life on earth is short. You have a warning. This country can go either way. It can go to the dark side where we have a dictator, or it can go to the right side where we have our rights and freedoms back. You need to wake up and see the truth. I'm looking at how the light, like, what the hell's going on? Like, sorry, folks, I got distracted there. But you have to look at what's going on in the country. We're in a delusion and we're in a state of lies. The truth told is also a lie. But lies are more common in the last 11 years. And nobody knows what to believe. And many of you had faith in this one man that bullied and was obnoxious and controlling, manipulating, and he let you know exactly who he is. I watched the movie he didn't want anybody to see, The Apprentice, and that was an interesting glimpse of him. But besides that, let's get with reality. Everything around us is materialistic. It's like, what is our reality? Like, I've have all this stuff I collected all my life, and at my age now, means nothing. It only proved maybe in the past that I had money to buy these things or make them. But now, when my lifespan gets shorter, maybe yours too tomorrow, because tomorrow's not promised, it means nothing. Because what's in here is our spiritual path, our awakening, our light, supposed to shine bright here for Jesus Christ. He's right here. He's always with us. His Father's always with us. But I don't know why. They gave us free will. Jesus and God gave man free will to do what he wants to do and to see how his lambs all do in times of trouble, suffering, pain. And I'm sure all of you are suffering, are in pain, and are in great depression. Don't be like that nurse at the beginning of COVID, and she was overwhelmed in a New York hospital, seeing all the dead in the trucks in the back of the building, that she killed herself. And I'm glad my parents and certain friends are not alive today to witness what this country is going through. I think about what George Washington did to save us from the King of England, from the King of England controlling the new America. I think about when France sent us the Statue of Liberty, a country free for all to come to. And it's all being destroyed by a lunatic. If you read Donald Trump's background with his dad In later life, his father suffered very bad case of dementia. It was horrible. And Donald Trump really didn't like being around his dad and what was going on with his health. He refused to acknowledge that. Just like, whoops, sorry, he doesn't, like when his brother Fred wanted to do his own thing. And what did Trump and his dad do? Was bully him and say, "Why do you want to be an airline pilot?" And and you need to be in real estate. The Trump, stay in the Trump name and stuff like that. And Fred suffered a lot. He would have made a good commercial pilot, but then he became addicted to alcohol, and he went back to his father and his brother and just became a maintenance worker at Trump Tower. How low are these people? And I mean, to bury your wife on your golf course? Trump said, he had a very, Ivanka was smart, but he had a very domineering wife. Most foreign women are very assertive and stubborn and dominating. And she was a smart businesswoman. He couldn't take it. He couldn't take anybody that could be smarter than him. It drove him crazy. Excuse me. Let me get straight here. But that's what happened. He constantly cheated on everybody. And besides people, he cheated on his wives. He wanted to lay his daughter. She wasn't his daughter. I mean, come on. You can't be in denial, people. I hear, I got off Twitter because after Harris and everything, it was like, people are like constantly fighting and stuff like that. And from Mega, I kept on hearing, well, where's the proof? Where's the proof? All they were doing was listening to his words and believing him. They weren't believing the man upstairs. Well, he's not upstairs, he's right here. They weren't believing in the kingdom of heaven of Jesus Christ. The kingdom of heaven is within. No, they had to think that this man was going to solve all their problems and to the deep swamp uh, left, as they call it. Well, I call the deep, swampy, stinky right that now. But we have to get beyond that. We have to get beyond name calling. We have to forgive, repent. Not what the church says, because that's all made by men. And they also try to control and manipulate people to feel guilty and to control us so they have money. Because if we knew that we have seek your own knowledge and self-worth and everything and spirituality and meditate within here without going to the church, they would be zippo, non-existent today, because everybody would be meditating and speaking directly to the man upstairs. Yeah, they're really afraid of that. But, when you're at a rally, where does it get you if at a protest and rally with this yelling back and forth? Like the Native American Indians said a long time ago, that the white man doesn't listen. They have to talk at the same time, but they're not really listening. Everybody's got to get a word in, and it's like that. But the Native American man would listen, and they would take turns out of respect to listen to the next person. And they would take what that person said and think on it. They all worked together. We don't have this unity in our country. People are being expelled from America, the land of the free. It it just got flipped, and it's terrible on families. But Elon Musk and Trump don't care. He's on a golf course, um, spending our tax money, and billionaire Elon Musk trying getting into the Pentagon. Like, who in the hell gave him permission to do that? I mean, all this is just piling up. I know how bad it is. I know how I feel. I know my doctor was on call last week. She told me I'm on call. I hear what you're telling me. I hear the same thing. And if Medicaid or any of these insurances change, I lose my job because I won't be able to help my patients. And then think of prescription drugs. I need drugs for my heart. I need drugs for my kidneys. I need drugs for cholesterol. I, you know, need, oh God, I have a small hyena hernia. I just found out. I knew I had acid reflux and GERD, but when I had to go to the ER and then later get a CAT scan, you could see the cut through the stomach wall of my hyena hernia. And then I get family members that tells me, oh, that's just normal. Everybody when they get older has that. Oh my God, tired of hearing that. But let's get back to, you know, at least Congress is trying to tell Trump, you can't get out of NATO. Go back to the time I was watching something. Oh, it was about the Tudors and Henry VIII, and where he had disputes with France. And Wolsey or Thomas, I think Thomas More, somebody came to him in a private council and said, "Why? Here's something." And think about it. It's Henry VIII's time. Problems with other countries, but they brought up about bringing a few countries together and having a humanitarian alliance where if, like Henry VIII said, and Atwell, yes, well, what would happen if I was attacked by another country? And Woolsey and Moore said, well, basically, the other countries would support you in in that war. And Henry VIII liked that. How many years are we going back in reference to that? So that started for England to have some support from countries that would become allies. Here we had Donald Trump that wants to get rid of NATO and open everything up for Putin. People ask, what does Putin have on Trump? Well, when Putin went through all his dad's money, went through bankruptcies, especially like his high hopes at Trump Tower, and thinking I had the money, where did he borrow that money from? KGB mob. He borrowed it from Russia. And a lot of the suites had illegal money laundering and probably gambling and other things going on by Russians in Trump Tower. So, way back then, before Putin, I guess, Putin's been around 28, 29 years, um, sort of serving his country, but he's he's just a KGB killer. That's what Trump owns Putin. And can you imagine on election day, um, to be sworn in January 20th or whatever the date that was, and Putin puts up on Russian TV naked pictures of Melania to rub it in Trump's face? I mean, look, I can see where this is going. Trump wants, not Trump, okay, Trump think he's doing a loyalty friend thing with Putin, but he's dumb because Putin is so happy when our democracy crashes and we become a dictatorship. Will be the first time in history that this will be happening to America. Why did George Washington fight so hard for the frontiersmen and our freedom? And to have this all taken away from a man that admires a KGB who would poison you without looking at you, who would put you in jail or send you off to a northern part freezing and 50 below in some prison with no heat to kill you. That's what he likes, the bully. And Mary Trump was right. Her uncle is just a weak, low self esteem man that wants to be something. He wants to, well, he has money. He's taken it from his mega people. He's taken it by threatening colleges and hospitals and lawyers and judges and everybody. And it's about the money. He wants to just take all that. That's his threats. He'll resign you, take you to court, fire you, kick you out of the state. Um, Again, it's control and power. But where does that get Donald Trump? Because Jesus Christ said, your lifeline is to me. If you don't have humanitarian alliances or empathy and compassion for other people in your country and other countries, then what good are you? Do you think, even with all your material wealth, when your time comes, when your soul leaves this flesh, you had choices? Jesus always gave you a choice. He was always near and always watching. He knows everything. You can't lie to the man. You can't lie to him. He knows everything. I mean, Donald Trump knows everything. Like I said, the kingdom of heaven is within. He knows everything he's done, and he knows all his lies. He's known how he swindled people. But in the end, when he leaves that flesh and his soul starts going back to where he has to have that talk in judgment time, you have a sorrowful Jesus Christ who said, I gave you many chances, and I saw what you did to America and other countries. And, it's not my choice to judge because Jesus said the only one that can make a judgment on a person's soul is God. But I'm just saying what I'm reading from them, and I know I shouldn't judge. Um, and that thing about sin, that's just a manipulation by the church to control you, to always keep you down, and that's not right. So, anyway, he still has a little bit of time if there's anything in his development as a human before his soul leaves his flesh to change things. But you can't leave your hope and faith in a man. It's not going to work, people. You have to get back to meditating for your family, for your life, for our country, for peace amongst each other's races, for the world and the devastation. Turn off the social news. It's horrible to see what's going on in countries. It's really bad. The lies, the the fact checks that are on the internet are lies too. When you get down to reading really the truth, and it takes me back to Project 2025, where when I was on Twitter and moving up where I could make money, and these trolls were saying, well, where do you have this proof? Trump said he'd never do that. And I'm thinking, how can you get through to these people? They're so brainwashed. They believe exactly what he's saying. And he's laughing all the way to the bank. He screwed you. How's that feel? Yeah. So before you go to bed tonight, I don't care. It doesn't matter what. Okay. Skip all these religions and all these hoopla, singing and dancing in these churches that get you high, but leave you like, uh, my soul still doesn't feel like it's grounded in Jesus because they're not teaching about Jesus. Go to bed, meditate on a better world, a better nation. Just meditate. Jesus said, your meditation, how do you get to my Father and to me? Through your mind, not your spirit or your soul, your mind. So before you go to bed, you can meditate, speak to the man, you know, and let's just pray and hope. That's all we can do. But you cannot leave it in people who build you up with whatever they say at these town halls and these rallies that they're actually going to do anything, really. I had to see. Okay, the other thing is about the next election. And I do believe that 2024, Elon Musk, with his money and his manipulations, made Trump president. I just, honestly, I don't care what anybody says. I know that. And I also know that Elon Musk, this next election, where people say, sorry, I hear my dog chewing on the fence. I also heard that this next election, they need more Democrats in offices. But who do you think's going to override that? Elon Musk again. Your votes are going to be overrun by this eccentric, autistic man that goes every which way but up to Mars, which we all wish he would go to. And um, that's what's going to happen. Watch, wait, and listen. But you got to get back to prayer because we're in a spiritual war. It's whispering in your ears all this crap. You need to clean it all out, wipe it all out. Some of you are waking up after what Trump's been doing. I'm proud of some of you Republicans that voted for him are finally seeing the light because it's hurting you. You spend all that time believing him. You couldn't even go back to Jesus and know a real truth seeker who never lied? It just amazes me. All I can do is just pray, meditate. We're all in this together. We, the warning is life is short. The warning is this country is going to fail, and many people are going to be like the breadlines of the past. It's going to be like the Great Depression. It's not the golden age for Americans. It's a shitty age, but we can turn it around with prayer. Peace be with you. Take care.